Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. I'm over here. You saw it. You saw it down there. That's the rudder. It's getting covered today. So I got everything somewhat ready to go. I mixed up some polytack and thinned it out a little bit because the problem I had with my little test piece that I made, it was a little too thick, and it does have a tendency to want to set up a little quicker. And with it being thick, it left some bumps underneath the covering, and I want to try to, there we go, and I want to try to avoid that, especially on the plane. When you're doing a test piece, mistakes are expected, and it's not that big of a deal. On the plane, it's a little bit bigger of a deal. So I'll get the camera set up, and I'll kind of start walking you through it real quick on how I'm going to be working with the hinges, because the hinges are going to be kind of a little oddball. I don't know if you can see it like I can see it. Almost looks like there's a little bit of bend in there, and I'm not going to fix it. So anyway, I got to figure out how to work around that type of hinge, because normally I put my hinges in after I cover, but because these are it's the old school ones where they're cut, put through, and then there's some little pins going through it to hold it into place. As you can see, this one's got no pins, so I'm gonna have to find something to put in there. I mean, it is epoxied on this side, so it's probably not going to go anywhere. I really don't. I mean, just the bottom and the top are pinned. But anyway, regardless, I got to figure out how to work with hinges that are already in place, and that's going to be not that difficult. I'll explain it to you, and then when I start working on it, doing everything, I'll try to keep the camera as lined up as possible on what I'm working on. And I'll just do a little speedy up video so you got some music and watch me work a lot quicker than I'll be working. I'm hoping that it's going to take me, for the first one, I'm hoping about an hour worth of time covering this one. It shouldn't take an hour, it should take maybe a half hour, but because it's the first one, I'm going to go with that first, and then once that's taken care of, because this is all sanded up, ready to rock, we'll be working on the elevator, because that'll be two halves. I'll be doing this half, and then I'll be doing this whole half. So it'll be covered into four. I mean, it's top bottom, be 4 pieces. But before I get going, I don't know if I showed you in one of the other videos on the conundrum I had where I had to cut because I don't even know if I showed you in the video that I had to cut the whole elevator apart again. Yes, it was not fun. So here's what I ended up doing. When I was finalizing it and getting it ready to go, something didn't look right when I had it on the plane, and this was the problem. Now that I've got good lighting on it, let me get a pointer. Sorry about that. Okay, my little pointer. This line on the outside is where this came out to. So this rounded all the way to the outside. And what I did was I came in, because I liked the way this side was set up. So I traced off, flipped it on over, did the same thing, set up some points. So so this piece over here on this side, it now has the same angle as this side. So, but you can see how much, I literally had to take off this thing. So this was, because we were good from here, but all of this was cut, all of this was removed, and all of it was replaced. And once again, because when I realized earlier on that this was, look at that, that this was put together with Amber, all I had to do was warm it up, bend it over in place, leave some weights on it, let it cool down for a couple hours, and it stayed in that shape. So we're good to go. So anyway, I just wanted to, because I didn't know if I showed you that. So let's put that back up on top of the light. We'll get you guys set back up in the stand again. I will go ahead and put a new battery in it, and let's get to work. All right. first things first. What I need to do is to deal with this little piece right here in the middle, and with the crossover of the fabric, you're always going to leave a little bald spot down in the middle. So what I'm going to do, I'll come in and I'll put in a little piece and just glue it in, so that would be done. So that way when I come in with the other covering and cut it at a diagonal, fold it over, you're not going to see the bare wood underneath. So let's get rolling there. And I need a multitude. Forgot all about it. You remember, tons of razor blades. I'll probably be going through the vast majority of this box of 100 of them before the covering's done. Let me get a couple out here ready to go, and I'll load one up in my my little Higley. I think it's a Higley. Oh, I'll find it. I will find it. I just don't know when. And when I come across it, I'll bring it back in again just to show you. So anyway, so there we go. So there's the first little piece. Put in, adhered, and I love how fast this stuff sets up. It's not tacky on my fingers anymore. It's just stuck. So I'm hoping this is going to go a lot quicker than I originally planned on it. And I just got to figure out how I want to start this. This is going to be the fun part. I already put a cut in ahead of time, and I think I jumped the gun on it, but I know I can make this work. What I want to do is get this as close to being in parallel with the grain before I start dabbing the back side of this. And fabric does work a lot nicer than Mylar, because it flexes. You can get it to bend around corners, and that's the fun part about it, because it does not have a problem working with you. Because this is the far part on the back side of this. I'm putting it over here, and then I'll put some more over here on this edge, pull it up, and then go ahead and we'll smush it over. And then I'll just go ahead and burnish it in with my finger so we get it in the fabric and come over the top. Now, how I'm getting the hinges through, what I'm doing is I'm just taking it, pulling it taut on the side that I want to cut it on. Put the little razor blade in between there, slide across, and then just pull it over. I'll do the same thing on the last one up here on the top. Hopefully you can see it without me cutting myself. Slide it across just enough to pull it over the top. And now they're out. And so I'll be coming across doing it the same way when I get the other side. So this is all glued on. As you can see, it just needs to be tautened up. There's a weird little bit of a pull up in here because the way I had to pull it around the top, you can see a little bit of the flex. I got it to pull out. It should be fine once I tauten it up. And so we'll see just how well that looks, with the hopes that it'll look prettier than it does right now. Anyway, let me get back. I got to come around. I got to trim all this up a little bit. Once again, with the razor knife, I'll come on in, cut it just to get it close, and then we'll call it good enough on this side, and then I'll get ready to put the covering on the other side. Alright, whoa, that's a little better. Alright, I'm going to try something different. What I'm going to try to do is, instead of, on the first part you saw me put it down, pull it up over the top, I want to try this. I'm trying the best way to describe this is if you were going to be doing it on a real airplane, where you're not going to be having, even though the wings and everything would be set up, you're going to still put it, you'd have the wing, the framework. Let's just see if we can kind of go back to looking this way again. Say that you've got the framework of the rudder sitting down. If you're going to do it, you're not going to have the fabric down and then the rudder down, so I'm going around the outside coming over the top. You're going to have the rudder like this, and you're going to put a bead on here. And it doesn't have to go around the other side. It's just got to be up on. So say that I just put a bead up here on the edge. Then what I'll do is I'll come in with the fabric and put it down on the top, tack it up, pull a little section back to it that way, put it down, tack it up. I want to try that because I've never used this stuff before. I've done nitrate dope, and nitrate dope is just it takes time when you put it on there and have it going through the weave. Where this stuff sets up in probably, I don't know, 5-10 seconds, you can let go of it. Nitrate dope is probably closer to half a minute. So this stuff is going to go so much quicker. And I think I can progress at a quicker rate of speed, higher rate of speed, faster, sure. So let's try it. You know, what's the worst can happen? I got to pull it off and do it again. So, So I wasn't 100% happy with the way that the other side turned out, and I'm going to try to get this done differently so that when I trim the edge, it's got less overwrap. I would not like to, I'd like to have it go about 3/4 of the way around the corner, around the curve, and then have the other side go another 3/4 of a lap. So you got a half a lap, half a overlap on it through the curve of the rudder. So let's try it that way, because I'm not going to uncover the other side. I'm just trying to find the better way to work with this. So let me go ahead and I'll do it this way, and we'll see how well it works out. And if it works out best that way, that's how I'll do the rest of the plane. So anyway, let's get back to work. Got the other side, it went on, you saw it, it went on really quick. I wanted to use the little Harry Higley sliceroo. It's just, I think it's going to be too close because the size, the thickness of the curve, it's just not going to work. I can't space it off. I can't bring this up higher. If I could bring it up higher, so I was getting, you know, 3/16 of a cut, I would use it, but I can't get that high. So we're going back to the old good old-fashioned Fiskars. Learn how to sharpen these things, because you need them razor sharp in here, and it's mine is razor sharp. I don't want to prove it, I can cut myself nose. So anyway, just learn how to sharpen scissors. So let me finish going around on this thing, so we can kind of figure out where we're going to cut this. But I need to cut these little tabs for the hinges again on this side like I did on the other side. Pull it over the top, and that's done. What I'll probably do is I'll probably just come on in and cut this with just a regular open razor blade, and I'll cut the rest of the way around with a pair of scissors, and then we'll go ahead and we'll seal out the outer opening. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Then I'll just seal all this up. We'll shrink it down, then we'll seal it. We'll put a coat of sealer on it. So this one will at least have, maybe I'll do 2 coats of sealer. You don't need to look at me. You need to look what I'm doing here. So we'll, don't cut yourself, bud. Alright, that's over. Now, How well to cut that, I don't know yet. Let me finish this up real quick around here, with the hopes that it's going to look good, and we'll go from there. Yes, it looks awkward, and it feels awkward. Alright, so let me just go ahead and I'll get the rest of this re-tacked up, and then, because I got the iron over there warmed up yet. So let me go ahead, I'll get this all sealed around the outside, and then I'll bring it back. I promise, I'll bring it back, and then we'll shrink it and get ready to dope. Alright, I got everything trimmed up, everything properly secured, glued, adhered. Now's the test. Okay, we're at about 225 degrees. Let's see if this is going to be warm enough. Could probably be a little bit warmer than this. I'm going to take my time with it. Yeah, it could be warmer. Let's warm it up a little bit more. Let's get it up closer to 250. It's probably about 225, which was probably not warm enough, because this should be, there we go. That's better. Oh yeah. Now all the wrinkles are coming up, and that's what we need. And I'm going to have little things around the edges too. There's like little teeny puckers, and all that should come out. So hopefully, let's bring it down here. You can see the wrinkles right down in here, so let's go ahead and put it on top. And oh yeah, it's coming out nicely. If you try to use a heat gun, you will pay the price. Don't ever use a heat gun on this stuff. You'll burn a hole through it faster than you could say burn a hole through it. It's stuff's very temperature sensitive, and 250 degrees is nothing compared to what you're going to find. That feels good. Nothing what you're going to find on an iron. So always use an iron. Sorry. Got too much stuff going on. Can't pay attention to you guys. Alright, it's kind of hard to see it. It's really, I mean, I know it's there. If you saw it when it's done painting, you'll see it. It's a little bit where the glue, the adhesive, the polytack that I put down here, it ran down along the edge and it pulled it down. I think it'll be fine. If I really wanted to, get it to pop free, I could probably take some MEK and put a couple drops of MEK down in there and let it thin and see if it lifts. Just by using heat to heat it up and have it release a little bit, it's almost come completely back up again. So I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Ow, that's hot. So anyway, that's kind of where we are right now. Let's go ahead. It's pretty taut. What we'll do is we'll get some dope on it. and see how everything firms up that little bit extra. And then you'll be able to hear that little drum thump on it.